Okay. Okay. Is this working? Is this working? All right. I'm gonna move my microphone just so it'll catch my voice, unlike the last video. All right. Let's get this started. All right. So for today's video, it's gonna be very random. We're featuring bat themed transformers, and that's mostly because I had this guy sitting in my pile for a while. I bought him during the winter holiday shopping season. It's the Transformers Universal Monsters Dracula. So this is a collab. It's between the Universal Monsters and Transformers. Over the last few years, Hasbro and Takara Tomy, they've done numerous collabs with other companies. For example, they've done the Transformers collab that featured the Back to the Future DeLorean. They did Mavericks, Tomcat from Top Gun. They did the X-Men Blackbird from the old 90s X-Men cartoon. And today we're going to take a look at Dracula. All right, so I bought this back maybe early November. I was at one of my local Targets, and this popped up on one of the end caps. On the end cap, they were kind of like showcasing some of the new toys for the holiday season. So this wasn't like packed away with the rest of the Transformers where the normal action figure aisle was. This took me by surprise because I thought the Dracula set was originally going to be like maybe like an online exclusive for like the Hasbro toy shop, or maybe for like Entertainment Earth or a Big Bad Toy Store. I wasn't going to buy this figure initially, but when I saw it at the store, I couldn't resist but get it, just because for me it's very uniquely boxed, because I'm a sucker for like graphic design and this odd packages, and this thing is definitely that. Um so yeah, we're going to take a look at this guy first, since he's kind of like the centerpiece of this bat themed Transformers video review. All right, so the box, it's kind of large rectangle. It's kind of like a bogus like VHS tape, because if you look at the side, it kind of has that VHS label, and then it has that tab. So if you grew up during the 70s and 80s and 90s and you used to record stuff onto VHS tapes, you'll remember that if you wanted something to be permanently etched onto the tape and not be erased, you'd break off this tab here. So that's kind of neat. So this is kind of like emulating like a old VHS cardboard sleeve, and then you'd remove the sleeve, and then this is kind of like the VHS tape, and I think that's what it looks like on the back. It looks like a VHS tape, so that's kind of cool. I dig that a lot. On the spine of the box, we have Transformers Dracula, Dracula in a pretty cool font, the Universal Monsters logo at the top. At the bottom, you see the Transformers Authentic logo. Once again, the VHS label right here. And on the back, we have Transformers Dracula. We have him with his cape accessory, and here he is transformed. Okay, so just to let you know in advance, I am not going to be transforming this guy, or am I going to be taking him out of the box. This is going to be strictly just like kind of like a mint on card review. Partially because I don't know, I don't feel the need to take him out. I just bought him more so for the uniqueness of the package. But we're going to take a look at a figure that's very similar to this. So we have Dracula. It's kind of neat. He's in this like cardboard tray. Now this package design is very reminiscent of some of the Hasbro exclusives that we'd get like at San Diego Comic-Con. For example, I think it was 2 years ago, at the San Diego Comic-Con, they released Star Wars Black Series, Rise of Skywalker, Sith Trooper. And that kind of came in a similar cardboard box display where it was like an open up window and you can actually handle the figure and see all the different accessories. So that's one thing I appreciate about this package design. It's really aimed at the collector, because this is one of those things where there's no bubble. You're not going to wreck the package. All you need to do is just cut off, these ties, and you can easily remove the figure and the accessories. And then once you're done, if you want to restore it, you just put it back in here and close it up. So yeah, we have Dracula here. He has his cloak or cape. I think that's his, like, one of his weapons or backpack deal. He has his pistol here, and here's Dracula. So this figure is actually a retooled version of Transformers, I believe Titans Return Mind Wipe, which I have right here. This is another bat-themed character. As you can see, Dracula makes reuse of some of Mind Wipe's body pieces, like the arms. The arms are the same, but Dracula features a completely new chest sculpt. Let me get this in focus. So if you look here, his chest is completely different than Mind Wipe's. Likewise, the head's different also. So these are Titan Return figures. So you could remove their head. You can remove their head like that. And then the head is effectively just like a mini transformer that turns into like a tiny robot. It's something that was carried over from the original G1 from the 1980s. And it just locks back into place. But I can't seem to do it. I'm probably going to lose this thing forever. I think I'm doing it wrong. All right, there you go. All right, so one of the reasons why I don't want to take out Dracula, and one of the reasons why I don't want to transform him, right? So there's some quality control issues with this figure. It's not necessarily a quality control issue. It's more so about the quality of the plastic. So something people have discovered over the years, like I believe this figure might be like 5 or 6 years old by now. So the softer rubbery parts, like the wings here and the wings down here, and even the head, they're made of this soft rubber plastic. But over the years, people have found that this plastic suffers from like dry rot. If you're familiar with dry rot, it's kind of like, for example, like if you have a really, really old bicycle and if you don't fill up the tires, the rubber, it loses its elasticity and it kind of like dehydrates. It's kind of weird and it becomes like crumbly. So what people have discovered is that over the years, some of these softer rubbery materials on the Transformer figures, they start to like essentially like dehydrate and they like this dry rot and they become very brittle. So the problem with that is that if you handle it in certain areas, like at the joints, like here and here, it'll just break and crumble. It's weird. It's a problem that a bunch of action figures actually suffer from it. Like if you have any of the, I think Bludgeon from like the Revenge of the Fallen line, his tank treads suffer from like that kind of like dry rot. So that plastic for his tank treads, they're made of that soft rubbery plastic. And then over the years, people would find that, they'd go to their display shelves and look at the figure and to see that Bludgeon's tank treads just broke off. So that's kind of the case with Mind Wipe and his bat wings and the head. And over here is that where these joints are located, they suffer from like that dry rot, and then it just kind of crumbles. So that's why I don't want to handle them. If I've heard people say that, they just gradually move it and the thing just like breaks apart. For me, this guy is a display piece. I'm not one to always transform my Transformer toys. I'm more about the robots. So that's something I'm kind of curious about Dracula here, like whether or not his wings share the same plastic material that's going to suffer from that like dry rot over time. But this is a great figure. It's a little bit overpriced, but it's a collab. It's kind of unique, and it's not very often that in the States that we get these on the shelves. I know that like in other countries, like in Asia and some of the Asian markets, they can easily buy the online exclude. At least what's online for us might be readily available on their store shelves in the wild. Like for us in the States, like the Transformer Selects that come in those cardboard, boxes and stuff, we can't buy that at like normal retail. But I think if you like live in like Malaysia or the Philippines, you could easily find those on shelves. So for me to see something as unique like this at Target was kind of a novelty, because stuff like this is normally reserved for either online purchases, like at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, the Hasbro Toy Shop. And if you do see something like this at retail, it's often at like a specialty store like GameStop. So it was part of the novelty for me was just finding this at Target. It was the holiday season. I kind of had some money to burn because I was doing a little bit of holiday shopping. So, it's a neat thing. Is this something you need? Possibly. If you're a fan of like the Universal monsters, it's a very unique piece. It's a very different interpretation of Dracula. So it's like, why not? If you're a Transformers fan, you can easily just say this is a new character if you don't want to call it Dracula. Maybe you could say it's like some different version of Ratbat. Which brings us to more bat-themed Transformers. We have over here Senator Ratbat. So I believe Senator Ratbat was a Japanese exclusive produced by Takara Tomy. It's very different than the Ratbat people are accustomed to. Most people, when they think of Ratbat, they think of the Transformer cassette that shoots out of like Soundwave when he's in cassette mode. Senator Ratbat's unique because it's Ratbat in like a slightly robotic humanoid form. And I believe Ratbat's first humanoid appearance was in the original Beast Wars cartoon back in the late 90s. But I think this one in particular might be more so inspired by Senator Ratbat from the IDW comics. I remember when I first discovered this figure online, I thought it was amazing because I was really into the IDW comics and I wanted, Senator Ratbat. But this was not a figure you could buy in the States. So I went through like a third-party seller and I got this guy. It's awesome. I love that Takara, their paint finishes are so much better than what we get from Hasbro, or at least, what they used to give us back in the day. So Takara, it was always a very premium finish. The plastic material was always a lot nicer. It always had a nice reflective sheen to it. The metallics looked more metallic. The plastic didn't look as plasticky as like the Hasbro counterparts. So for me, this was a win all around. It was a very unique character that was exclusive to the comic books. This was a unique toy that you can only find overseas in Japan and in the Asian market. So I just had to have them. It's awesome. I love this figure a lot. And this figure is actually making reuse of the original Scourge mold. And here's Scourge. I believe this version of Scourge, I can't remember the toy line specifically. At first, I wanted to say this was from Reveal the Shield, but it's not because he doesn't have the Reveal the Shield sticker. This might have just been a plain mainline release. As you can see here, they're identical molds. The only thing different is the head. And then the Japanese equivalent of this guy that was released overseas. Here's the Takara Tomy one. I want to say this might have been released under the Transformers Legends line, or maybe United. I'm not 100% sure. But as you can see here, this one has a completely different finish. It's much more premium. The blues are a little bit more metallic, a little bit more on the candy side. It just looks like a nicer figure overall. The Decepticon badge on this one's noticeably smaller, and it's located mid-torso, whereas the Decepticon badge on Scourge in the American release is placed over his left side of his chest. They share the same weapon accessories. But as you can see, just different color schemes. For me, I think I have multiples of this guy. I think I might have 3 or 4 of these guys, and I might just have just the one of the Japanese Takara one. And for me, I like to call this one Scourge, and these guys are his minions, the Sweeps. Moving on, there's more bat-themed Transformers. This is another, I think this is another Mind Wipe, I believe. But this one was the Titan Master that came with this weird like robot shell. I forgot what they were called. And I believe there was the Mind Wipe head. If this is Mind Wipe. I think that's what it's supposed to represent. I lose track of all their names. So this is another bat transformer. And then we have Ratbat. This is a much more modern take on the classic G1 figure. I believe this came out some years ago. Which toy line is it? I think War for Cybertron. I think this was War for Cybertron Ratbat. And then there was like an Amazon 2-pack, and it was repainted, and we got this guy. I can't remember his name. But it's cool. It's kind of odd they make so many bat-themed Transformers. I mean, these aren't bat-themed, these two guys. I just brought them out just because these were the original mold for Senator Ratbat. All right, so this was a very random video. I just wanted to talk about bat-themed Transformer characters. It's not very eventful for my second live stream, but this is more stuff to get out of the way in my review pile. I've been meaning to review them, Dracula, but just never got around to it. If you're looking for a much more in-depth review, you'll probably just want to hunt around on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find a streamer that covers all the basics, like the transformation and the articulation and whatnot. I'm just kind of lazy, and I still want to take this guy out of the box. Honestly, I don't know what I would do with him if I took him out. You know, I'm worried about just keeping this guy mint on card. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this live stream. It's probably very weird, random, and boring, but it's another video to add to my collection. So if you like my content, come back again. You know, I hope the new year finds you in good spirits and in good health, and just be happy. And I'll see you at the next video. All right, later.